Do. Oh, I'm a hero, my life I'm alone, up on the hangman is coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long. Oh, the gig is up, the news is out, they finally found me. What are we, guys? What are we, guys? What are we, guys? What are we doing? What are we doing? Who's there? Testing 1 2, testing, testing. Okay, I think we got a test. The test is in. It works. It works. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. All right, so today I want to talk to you. I want to, get real. What are the taboos that y'all think exist in the hobby? Now, I have some of my opinions, and it'll just be this is just the overarching theme of the chatter, the topic for the day. We might get up and also walk around, look at some of the tanks. I don't know. We'll see where the stream takes us. I apologize for not being present this morning. I had some family, nothing bad, good stuff, all good stuff, but unexpected, like, hey, parents just showed up, and obviously you guys just aren't as important as my frail aging parents. I say that as a joke, somewhat. They're in their 70s and they're going to the Guess Who, the band The Guess Who from Canada, the old 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s rock band slash BTO fusion, I guess. Ain't seen nothing yet, baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. So, anyways, they're going to be rocking out, apparently. I'm not doing anything. My wife is then at, well, what the heck is, I'm going to forget the name of the band, but you guys some of you will know. Those in the know will know. Hold on one sec. And they're such a bizarre band. So KEXP is a Seattle radio station, and they are like a very independent, interesting, cool radio station that plays really, really out there, bizarre, but great music of all different kinds. And they have like I guess I don't know if it's an anniversary show or like it's called their barbecue, though. It's like a fundraiser, but they have a bunch of bands playing. So like Ty Segall and Trombone Shorty, I think, was playing, and like I don't know. I think they have another one with Tame Impala. But there's a band today that my wife's down at, and it is. The only way I know how to look them up is I say Polka Dot Canada Band. They're not from France. Everyone thinks they're French, but they're not. But their picture very they make their own clothing, and they're very odd. They wear weird polka dot outfits and like Pope hats and stuff, but their name what is their it's I always forget it, but it's Angine Poitrine. So angine or angine poitrine. Anyways, yeah. So I think they're from Quebec or something. I don't know where they're from. Doesn't really matter. But they play a very weird minor notes and like syncopated rhythms and like half scales and stuff, and play in between scales. They're very interesting. And my wife didn't get me a ticket because of how I limp and stuff, and so I would have had to bring my wheelchair. And as much as I would have liked to go see music, I haven't gone to music shows in a while. As you guys know, I get tired like all of a sudden, and it's neurological from all the lightning stuff and from the head injury from the lightning. And so when I start getting in that like kind of like almost like stupefied, it's what they're called as petit mal seizures, but it's your brain just restarting and then like taking a minute to kind of like get back into the flow of things and get synchronized with my like motor skills. Like for a while, my like I'd fail like a sobriety test, and then like within 20 minutes it comes back. But anyways, so when I get like that though, we went to a Smashing Pumpkins concert like 6 years ago maybe, and I was in that zone, and I wasn't feeling good, and I was kind of covering one eye, kind of had a headache, and I just fell on the floor and had a full on like big seizure. So I haven't really gone to any like big light show type events since that, like years ago. But I'm bummed to be missing both those shows. And the weird part is, so my wife is going with like people, 50 and under, 30, 40, 50, the younger crowd, to go see those shows. And then my parents are at the Guess Who show, but they're in the same like probably there's like a 10 square block park in the middle of Seattle where the Space Needle is, and they're all, my parents are on one side and my wife is on the other, and they all like took buses down there. I don't know, it seems odd. So I'm here at the house holding it down. It's a fairly warm day. Things are good other than that. James, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, buddy. We got a first super chat, best super chat of the day. Thank you so much, James. Really do appreciate it. Let me keep the lights on. Let me keep my my sanity in check, and that means at the door. Do what I want. So I wanted to talk to you guys today. If you guys have any ideas, thoughts, opinions, questions that are just normal, like, hey, what about nitrates? What about this or that, about filters or stocking ideas or whatever, please feel free to ask as always. Hey, Pick and Choose, good to see you, man. And also Sue, good to see you. Claire, good to see you. So yeah, I'm happy that we're gonna see some different faces today. That's another reason why I wanted to stream at a different time. I was hoping to make it morning, but I think still just doing it on the weekend, get some different faces than when we're during the week. And then today I was also thinking an overarching theme of the show would be what are some taboos that we think exist in the hobby, and like what are they and should they exist? So I think like an easy one is that a lot of people think that way too many people buy fish impulse and don't know what they're buying, and so therefore a lot of people sell fish to impulse buyers, and so they sell things like red-tailed catfish, they sell things like a giraffe catfish or whatever, big fish, Oscars even, red-tailed sharks, bala sharks, whatever it may be, silver dollars, stuff that is gonna need 150 gallons or more eventually, if not like 1,000 gallons, the red-tailed catfish. But like, do we think that those should be banned in the hobby, or do we think that it should be, buyer beware? Like, whose fault is it? Is it the person who buys the catfish? Is it the person who sells the catfish? Is it the law for not making it illegal? So issues like that, if you have any in your mind, let me know. I mean, obvious, another one would be like that people are super overbearing in community groups, like talking about, for instance, bettas or goldfish or Medaka or anything that you have a passionate group of people talking about. You will get a group of people that think, there's lines, and if you didn't know X, Y, or Z, you're an idiot and you shouldn't even be in the hobby. And so I think like those kind of things are areas that I'd like to kind of kick up, brainstorm with you guys some of these ideas. And I think then maybe there might be some standalone videos I want to make examining some of this stuff in the future. I saw a video on TikTok of a guy who clearly had no idea or notion that there is a big fish community online. This dude was just a rural southern guy, and he had a 38 or 40, whatever it was. It was a whole, like a dog run, like you'd have on the side of your house, but he turned it into like a really long oblong oval. So it was like a big long track, like rectangle with a oval turnaround at either end, kind of like a dog bone. And he was raising stingrays in Louisiana outside, and he had like a heater and a cover for it, but he's out in the swamp, like, but raising these whatever they were, Moto and Black Diamond stingrays and stuff. And he actually was keeping them in like, I think it was like 8,000 gallons. So I'm like, I don't have a problem with that. If he wants to make a freaking pool and do that, that's fine. But then I was thinking, I was like, who's he selling them to if he's breeding stingrays and like trying to bring out traits in them? And then in his house, he had like another 8,000 gallon like basement that was just like a plywood and tarp and, you know, whatever. Anyways, it was weird. I came across it and I'm trying to hunt the guy down. And I may go more public with it than that, but I don't want to quite yet, because another YouTuber kind of like went and filmed his house and like seems to know him. So I don't want to like swipe the story or whatever. But anyways, interesting little aside. But yeah. Oh yeah, Pick and Choose says taboo mixing saltwater and freshwater fish. Everyone assumes it can't be done. Yeah. I mean, you definitely can. Yeah. And Jan says, "Oh, the betta police." Yeah, totally. I'm surprised freshwater stingrays aren't illegal there. They're super illegal in Texas. You know what? They might be. I don't know. This guy didn't seem to like give a one damn about what anybody thought of him. He was a definite, I mean, I'd say good old boy, but he was African American. I feel like good old boy is more of like a redneck white thing generally. But you, whatever. I'm not going to be. Let me. I won't be prejudiced. He could be a good old boy, African American. He looked like a Cajun who just didn't care. He'd have pet alligators if he felt like it. Wasn't stupid by any means, but I thought it was interesting. So also, I just saw that there was another super chat that came in from James. James, buddy, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I don't still, I will never know what to say. It's never expected. It's always appreciated. I'm going through changes in this channel. I don't really have anything else to do in life at the moment. As broken and as like injured as I am, I'm not going to work a 9 to 5. I've been told by my doctors to get on disability, food stamps, yada, yada, whatever, for 10 years now. I mean, no, not quite, since the lightning strike. So like going on 8 years now. And, there's been a number of things that have gotten even worse since that happened, with my autoimmune stuff and with the broken legs and bone density and then the kidney tumor. But all that being said, the channel, it was a long haul for me when I made the channel to say, do I want to do full-time YouTube? And at some point you have to jump in and you go, yeah, I'm going to do it full-time. And I'm not going to work my day job. I'm not going to work and get my benefits and my health insurance and my retirement, my 401k from Trader Joe's and from graphic design freelance headhunting companies that I was working for. And so at some point I jumped in because I was already out for medical reasons. And so I figured, great. Then not even a few years, I mean, just a few years into it, like maybe a year into really having my first year on paper where I made like 20 grand or something, enough that my wife could pull our weight for a year or two, kind of, when I got on her health insurance. And then, because otherwise I don't even qualify to like buy my own unless it's some ungodly price. But what I was going to say is, so then, that takes her commitment and her supporting me, which I can never thank her enough for. Thanks, honey, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you're not, you're at a concert. But anyways, if it weren't for that, then I wouldn't have been able to do it. And then the big COVID lockdown happened. And so then we get this massive influx of people and all this. And so all these things have kind of been a chain reaction of fortunate luck for the channel. But now I'm at a point where like the channel is definitely, you know, I don't want to go, we're not going deep into money or anything, don't worry. But the channel is making like, you know, 800 a month or something, like not anywhere near where it was when it was making 3,000 or 4,000 a month. And a big part of that's me. I'm not making double the content load. I was making double the content that I make right now. Right now, I've been making a video or so a week, and maybe 1 or 2 shorts a week, and like 3 to 4 hours of live streams a week total if you add it up. And so, you know, for a while I was really grinding and making 2 or 3 videos a week, 2 or 3 live streams a week, and 3 or 4 shorts or shorter things, and at least a deep dive every 2 or 3 weeks. But what I was going to say is YouTube has really restructured. And so I felt like for a long time, between my health and between the money and not knowing like if I can do this, like you really do, James, and you people like Asya, thank you so much, supporting as a member for 63 freaking months. I mean, like, you guys just who are here, who are supportive of the channel, who ask questions, who you know, help me with ideas and help each other. It is so incredibly like moving to me. And it's kind of ironic that, you know, I hit the 100,000 mark in the channel, and it has marked kind of like then a downfall of the channel as far as all the other stats go. But I don't want to quit this. I felt like I needed like a break, and YouTube, you can't stop fully, right? I mean, if you do, the wheels will really, really fall off, and you really are going to have to dig out of the hole in a way where you're going to pay. You're going to have to pay, whether it's to have an editor or whether it's to have ads for your channel or whatever. Just the way the logistics get the ball rolling again, it doesn't organically take off very easily. It's like starting from scratch if you quit like totally for like 6 months, say. And so basically I've kept the train rolling, and I've kind of jogged alongside it and tried to sit down every once in a while the last year or two. And I'm feeling like, you know, you guys have pulled me through a lot of this, and I still have like a total passion for all these topics in the freshwater ecology and in science and history and fish and just like this community we have here. But I just wanted to thank you guys again for like pulling me along with the momentum that we built. And I hope that we can, at some point, again, we'll build that momentum into something that is what I want it to be. Because now I'm starting to see other channels for the first time in probably a decade. Like Rachel O'Leary was another person who I loved her content. And maybe like Dustin's Planted Tanks, he'd do like sketches. Aquarium Co-op, when they first were starting, they'd do some sciencey stuff with good experiments and examples and stuff. But honestly, there hasn't been a channel that I've seen lately until the last 6 months or a year. And now I'm seeing all these channels rising up, like Pond Life or Outdoor Aquatics or Aquarium Science, like all these different channels that are right now like under 30 or 40,000, but they look like they're growing quick. And they are doing just what I do, which I'm really happy about. Like I've been screaming from the rooftops, like, please, will somebody peer review and research stuff and make content, like, so that it, because like honestly guys, you turn on YouTube, you want to hear something that's not something you could just Google, the top 10 whatever, right? And you may want someone's opinion of that, and then to hear the details. I get that. I like watching those lists and stuff, but I don't need like the 10. I don't need 10 red fish to go in your aquarium necessarily. I could Google that probably. I could just say red freshwater aquarium fish and then look at Google Images, right? So we already have these tools that your average person can do a lot of the whatever curiosity they have, even if it's taboos in the aquarium. It's like how I start researching all my videos. And that's changing rapidly. And I think that's what has made me feel so lost, or maybe had the writer's block that I was really feeling for a while. And now I feel it kind of easing up finally. And what I was trying to figure out is like, why do I feel like it's not worth spending? So it's not that I care if only 1,000 of y'all out of 100,000 subscribers and members see something. Like, personally, like, it's okay if only 1,000 were interested, and I was interested, put my heart into it, and 1,000 people who watched and enjoyed it. But when nobody gets the alert that it exists, that's what hurts, like my both my emotions or frustrations, and it makes me feel like, why did I edit that? Why did I spend the time editing that? Why did I spend the time researching that? And on the one hand, I think, well, for posterity, like, it's good somebody made a video on it, and the one person who has that exact question in the future might find this video. But it's to continue on in that vein. I've found a couple channels lately that are using a lot of AI, and they're using it pretty well. They have great B-roll. I mean, I don't know where. Like, I'm literally asking them, where are you getting the 503? What's going on, Shanna? How are you doing? So good to see you. What's up, Mamacita? Good to see you. There's so many people, and that I see doing these new things, like what's the best plant for eating nitrates, and they'll have this information, they'll have a layout. Like, there was a guy who just did a video on monsteras, I forget what channel it was, but he's like, the best plant for $2 that you'll never need to I don't know, no maintenance, yada yada. Like, it's a very clicky idea, and it's a like a filterless or a low filtration nature tank kind of a video. And it's stuff that, like, I was making from trial and error, and a little unsure to like make a bold claim like that, like 5-6 years ago. And now I feel like I've played with a lot of those things enough. I've tested them. I've done like a control. I've done 3 or 4 versions of it and seen the differences. I feel like I could pull from my own experience. But at the same time, everybody's been doing these projects alongside me. I didn't think of the idea. I didn't come up with, low tech, Wallstead and Father Fish and Lucas Bretz and all these different people have been kind of skirting around different methods in keeping fish that might vary a little bit from your normal high filtration, heavy water change version. And I think now the science piece of it that I had so like yearned and longed for is finally coming. And I love that. But the thing that's missing from a lot of the content that is being made right now, and I just hope they're careful, and I want to, like, I have been messaging them and commenting without much reply, honestly. Like, I haven't gotten much back from them. But I've been saying, like, please understand the context and the nuance of what you're saying. Because you could say that Monstera is better than any plant in the aquarium hobby for reducing nitrates when you grow it on the edge of the aquarium, right? It's 4 times better than Pothos, supposedly. In this video is what it says, and it's got this info. It doesn't say where his info is coming from, but I know for a fact it's Chat GPT or Claude or one of those things that basically built him a case around the topic he put in. And no shade on that. Like, the guy's also editing and, doing stuff too, and clearly keeps fish. But the thing that you don't see is, well, you could put a freaking redwood tree in the tank, and that would eat way more nitrates than any sort of Monstera. So are we talking just about like house plants and vine plants, because otherwise, like, we have bamboo. You could put black bamboo in your tank and that would just drain all the nitrates. Like, that could grow a foot a day. So there's like these little nuances where it's easy to say something because it gets spit out, and it's, even if you're using scientific studies, you're like, oh, that's correct. All these facts are true. But what pieces is it missing? Does it know about this other tech in the hobby? Or does it know about this obscure thing that some aquarists do that's another way to do things? And so that's the value in the experience and in years of being an aquarist, and also scientists. Like, you need all those perspectives. You need the trial and error. You need the people doing it. You need the people who are inventing it, and you need the people to like propose it and to analyze it. So anyways, I see so many of these beautiful gifts and support. Thank you so much. I'm super stoked to see Shanna back supporting a membership. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. In case you didn't hear, I'm not raising none of my membership prices. YouTube really is. They've sent me, I've counted now, over 38 emails since June telling me I need to raise my prices. They're like, you don't have to, but, and then it's like all these reasons why I have to, but you don't. So other than like, like I said, I think Australia, and then maybe one price tier, they said like we have to round up because of inflation, something or other, like it, but it's like, I don't know, $1 or 29 cents or something. That what I looked at it and I was like, well, that's not the end of the world. But I wanted y'all to know that for everybody out there who's saying, oh, I had to because YouTube just made us do this, or YouTube just changed our prices, that's not true. And I've heard a lot of creators blaming YouTube, and it's just not true. Like, they had a choice, and just like I do. And I'm going to try to keep it affordable. Also, the Discord is free and open for everyone. If you guys ever want where the files are stored, the files are in the computer. So again, I know sometimes I stand on my principles, or whatever you want to call it. I try to be a little bit of a martyr in a silly sense. And maybe people are like, just shut up and do it, get your money and get out. But at the same time, like, as somebody who watches other channels, I appreciate when $1 is $1, or $1.99 doesn't go up to $2.79, $3.29, like starts climbing up all the time. And I feel like if independent people like me can hold their own against the forces that be, then like it shows that there should be no problem in billion-dollar companies and or million subscriber channels in them holding their own as well, for their members' sake, that is. Now, if this were about my contract with Google and I had some way to twist a lever and get more leverage on them and charge them more, you think that I would, I wouldn't stop that at all for a sec. Rune Wolf, I saw that you gave 10 gifted memberships. Holy cannoli. Thank you so much. It's been a long time since we've had some memberships cascading in like that. I really do appreciate it. Again, you guys, the generosity is off the charts tonight. I guess we got folks in a freaking mood. But thank you. Wicked Freaking Aquatics, good to see you. Also, thank you for all the jewels. Cassandra, thank you. Eddie, yeah, what a goat, for real, right? Oh, right on. You got a membership too, Pick and Choose. Right on. Well, guys, welcome. For those of you who got a new membership, you can, I wish they'd let you buy the cheapest membership too. I think they make you buy the like $5 or whatever's around $5 on any channel is what they like make you buy to gift it forward, so to speak. And the $199 membership is the one that I'm like, well, that's the one. Honestly, nowadays I am opening everything I have in the archives to anybody who's here. If you're here, you show up, you come to these live streams, even if you watch these live streams after the fact. Guys, the playlists, I basically, all I did was I unlisted some, and then I put in the podcast 2023 that looks like it's outdated, perhaps, to the casual person looking through playlists. That one has up-to-date audio episodes and the old episodes of, like, here's a news story about fish. And granted, I've been doing more of the episodes where, for instance, in a recent episode, I talked about, well, what was it? It was something. It was something. Jack Betts, also new member. Welcome, Heavenish. Hello, and welcome to the party. Let's see. Also, I'm going to be doing with the Frugal Aquarist, who Jim is his name, by the way. But him and Sean from Tech Aquatics, and also Bentley Pasco of Bentley Pasco's Aquatics. I think the four of us are going to be doing a podcast / YouTube show called the Four Sides of the Aquarium, or something along those lines. But we're basically going to, I think the first episode, maybe I'm going to get yelled at here, but I'm going to spill the beans and say, stay tuned. There'll be an episode where it's four of us. You know, Sean has opinions that are a little different than mine. He likes to use a little more technology as a general rule. Jim, even more, I would say, or at least he's up for building and trying, like, automating things and stuff like that. So they're kind of that end of the spectrum. Bentley is definitely he used to be all about breeding rainbow fish and keeping plants, and had a fish house, fish room. There's tours that are 8 or 9 years old on my channel you can go back to and see what his place used to look like. But since he's gotten married and his career's taken off and so forth, I think he's scaled it back to somewhat sane proportions. But between all of us, and then my kind of experience with the lower tech, as well as, I did my aquascaping internship or apprenticeship, whatever you want to call it, working in a couple different fish stores, breeding guppies for, I guess it's been 25 years now, since I was a young teen, and selling them, like, since eBay started, and then getting into breeding bettas and other stuff, and then all the stuff you see me do on the channel. So hopefully we kind of come at it with a bunch of different opinions. I know, like, politically, we've got, for instance, in that crowd, we've got pro-Trump, we've got, like, Trump indifferent, we've got anti-Trump, we've got indifferent to all politics. So from everything from a sociological perspective, and from an income perspective, and married with a family, to me with no kids but a wife, to bachelor, kids grown, we've got kind of an interesting selection of us guys. Yeah, we're 4 white guys, but we are we're all a little different, but we're all here because we love fish, right? And so we kind of wanted to get together because we all agree on, the ethics and standards of, like, the quality of content we'd like to see out there in the hobby, and also the discussions and the topics that we feel like don't get had enough. And so the first one we want to talk about is the Wallstead aquarium method, and what it means by, like, when it came out, how was it special, what did it mean, and, like, what changes did it cause, what did it teach us, and then all the way up through today. Like, well, there was no aqua soil really available for the public. There was no, just basic filtration methods, LED lighting, so many things you could go down the list. Good fish food, nutrition profile wise, and selection of plants and things like that, tissue cultures, internet shipping, all this stuff just wasn't around in the early 90s, when the ecosystem of the planted aquarium, ecology of a planted aquarium, came out. And so I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a talk worth having. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. And I think we'll be co-hosting it on this channel as well as on like I think it'll say collaborate, which is like a new feature too. Fish Dad, what's going on? Good to see you. Jack Betts, good to see you. Let's see here. Sorry guys, I've lost my flock. And I do appreciate all the jewels that y'all have supported me with too. So thank you. Somebody gave like 900 jewels. Oh yeah, it was Horrible Warning. Look at that. Duckling, thank you so much for that support. Again, Rune Wolf, can't thank you enough. And James, you too, buddy. Bambi giving more jewels. Cassandra, jewels. I appreciate it. I'm still dumb and don't know what the jewels really mean. But Scholars Retreat, hello. Lisa the Wolf, hello. Off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Eddie, what's up? Eat the hearts, Alex. We feed you. Nom, nom, nom. Yoshi style. Nom, nom, nom. Bring ba. Let's see here. A little bit of a sausage fest, but I'll let it slide. Hey, Shannon, maybe we need you in there. I don't know. You've been awfully quiet the last few years. I know you sneaking in the shadows. I know you around. I have to get you up on the stage instead of using the vaudeville hook and crook, chain method. We'll just do the fish hold you up for showing a prize specimen. How's that for patronizing? How's that for inappropriate? Anyways, Garage Gills, what's up? Let me stand for a sec, guys. I've got a spasm in the old back. The new back, no spasms. Old back, lots of spasms. Anyways, so I was thinking again, we got Elite Menagerie ready for the ride home. Driving and lurking and driving. Okay, we got like a country song going on here. Ready for the ride home, lurking and driving and lurking all day in the shade. Sweetest taboo, let's talk taboos. Let's goldfish and angelfish too. Hey Alex, hey chat. Saturday on, talking about this, talking about that. So while driving home, I'll be real careful. Drive and swerve and take some chances. Anyways, yeah, what's up? Yeah, we will talk about some taboos. Another one. Hold on. Pick and Choose has something to say. Today I finally got a Scarlet Badass to watch him creep around through the nooks and crannies. Any tips? No. I would say, yeah, live food. If you can give your fish live food, there's a taboo right there. Some people don't want to deal with it. Here's the bigger taboo. Not that live food exists, not that people do it. The taboo is that 95% of anybody who keeps fish and they have live food, they will start their live food culture. They will love it for a month or two. They might even share it, split it a couple times for friends. It'll start getting stinky. They'll let it go. Life gets hectic, whatever. Maybe they don't have any fish that are spawning or breeding. And for a while there, they had a bunch. And they'll let it go. And all of a sudden, it'll get moldy or it'll get like bacteria and funky. And they'll be like, oh, man, it's nasty. It smells like a Foot Locker in here. And they'll throw it out. And that is the truth. And then when people are like, oh, how's your this or that culture? Oh, and then some excuse, right? But not many people can keep a culture going. And the trick is really redundancy. When in all the years I've done it, I had vinegar eels going. I've done vinegar eels from scratch by my friend who was brewing cider, was able to get them from scratch. Also, he showed me a trick where you can just get them from potatoes to just kind of like magically sprout. They're living in the skin of the potato in some form, some little teeny tiny live nematode that was in the soil or whatever. But yeah, so there are a number of ways to keep these live foods, but I think that that's one of the bigger unspoken things, is that we're just lazy. And also, at the end of the day, even brine shrimp, like brine shrimp are nice because you can put the eggs in the brine shrimp hatchery, and within 24 to 36 hours you have some new baby brine shrimp that you can feed. So you kind of get this like run up and then a time to do it. But then there's also the kind that you don't use electricity, you don't use an air pump, you just literally use salt and water. And they're the I can't remember what the name of the brand is. It's a black disc with just a hole for enough light that it pulls them to the center of the hole, because they're attracted to they're photoreactive. And vinegar eels are so small a lot of times, especially if you don't have a high yield warm culture that's got a good balance of all the ingredients. You'll oftentimes get very small ones, and they're so small that the only way you can tell they're alive is you hold it in like natural light or in front of a really bright LED that's like a true white LED, or like 5,000 Kelvin or 6,000 Kelvin. And you'll see it almost looks like oil in a pan that's up at temperature right before like boiling or sublimating. So you'll see that it starts kind of swirling and doing this weird like glitchy thing with these like, apparently it looks like circles getting bigger and smaller, kind of like oil droplets moving through water. And that is the vinegar eels packed in there, and they'll usually be towards the top, just trying to get oxygen in the oxygenated water. Anyhow, so yeah, another big taboo that I don't think that we've talked about a ton, but who has, and I do appreciate it, is not Eric Thomas down in California, Central California, Bay Area. He's talked about it a little bit. He's talked about it. Who else? Tom Barr's talked about it a little bit. Not that he's like specializing in any sort of thing on it, but the potential of aquariums to make you sick, especially if you're autoimmune compromised, is something we don't talk about a lot. But I actually have now three times that I have been at the hospital and they've cultured a wound on my body, and they've found some obscure, not even genus, but like family of bacteria or archaea. Or even one time they found a protist that was living in my broken skin because of my either my psoriasis, or that splits and sometimes is an open cut, or because of a wound that was not healing properly. And in the infection, it's been like, oh, I got infected with a secondary, some sort of like staph or MRSA in some cases, where the two cases where I almost died, and the MRSA went over the blood-brain barrier into my actual brain. I was on life support in the ICU. I don't even remember those 3 days. But when I came out of all that, they had the printout of all the different bacteria that were in the wound site and on the skin. And like on my skin, living happily, were at least half a dozen bacteria that they had never come across. That they were just like, well, we see that these exist, like they're in our database, but I, as a doctor, as a what were they? They were a I want to say pathologist. That's not the right word. They are a pathologist, and they'd never seen some of these things. But where they do see them is things like people who do underwater welding, people who do work at fish markets and would cut themselves with a knife in the fish market, people who wear boots or wetsuit stuff working for Fish and Wildlife, and tromp through the swamp all day and are in some really stagnant, nasty water. So I found that kind of interesting that I have had a number of these infections. Now, some of them are completely harmless, and they just wanted to say, like, we never see this on human skin usually. It's generally like a wet surface bacteria or archaea or whatever. But I think that's a taboo we don't talk about because you don't want to scare people away from the hobby. You don't want to scare people away from thinking that fish are dangerous or something, when statistically speaking, somebody who's already immune compromised, they might have an issue with a million things. And the fact that they may have an issue with getting some aquarium water in a cut, or they may not wash their hands fully, and then they like scratch the corner of their eye, and that's, mucous membrane, or maybe you go like this, and that's enough that, oh, it's in the corner of your mouth. You go like that, boom. It's amazing how easily those things can talk about. That's a great one. I also agree here. Oh yeah, and a jeweler techno. Oh, that's a great one. And CC, hello, good to see you, my friend. Techno. I think that's a really good. It's a good. I use the jeweler's loop or the. I usually have one right here. I usually use the eye loop for geology for just I used to carry a necklace at all times. There's a brand that I'll have to remember called Geo something. Geologo. Anyways, I think it's Italian or Portuguese, and it's an eye loop, real compact. You could use it as a jeweler loop. It does 10 times magnification, but it's great for geology, for rock hounding and seeing the grain size and the plane, or the kind of the stuff just below the human eye. Like when you can see something with the human eye, but you can't really like describe, like you're like, oh, it's a bug, but is that 6 legs, or is that 8 and 2 antennas? Like that's the kind of thing that it clears up immediately. Or if you want to hold it like yay high away from, this is a digital one I have right here. And I reviewed this digital one that says it goes to 200, this apixel or apixel thing is such a big piece of shit that I never, pardon my French, that I never, I told them, you guys sent this to me. I never said I was going to review it. If you'd like me to make a video on my honest opinion of it, I will. And then they said, yeah, do you like it? We can give you $500 to make a good video about it. And I said, no, I really hated it. It's a really shitty product, and it's bad, and it doesn't have like a built-in decent light, and it doesn't focus quickly, and you have to mess with stuff by putting other things in the field of focus. There are a few versions of it, but this one really is bad. And then putting it on cameras or various other contraptions, just a total pain in the butt. And the lens itself, again, see that pinhole? That's one of the lenses. The other one on this side is not even, there's not even a glass lens until you get deep in there. So the lenses themselves on this thing are not even a centimeter across. So like, how could it be of any quality to zoom in on anything? But anyways, I told them, yeah, if I'm going to make a video on it, it's going to be like, this thing sucks and I hate it. And they're like, oh, in that case, Can you send it back? And I was like, no, no, but I won't make the video if you don't want me to. But it's not really marketed as an aquarium thing. It's marketed for like kids and looking at bugs, and maybe for those uses it would be useful, but for trying to look at the gut contents of a fish, terrible. For trying to look at like fin ray counts, stuff like that, once the fish is dead, perhaps it's a little bit useful, but almost every camera phone now is better, fivefold better clarity and resolution. So yeah, anyhow. Yeah, all right. Eric is in Stockton at University of the Pacific. Yeah, Eric Thomas, Mr. Corridora lover, Corridoris lover, Hoplosoma lover, Geoscleromax. Is that right? Lover, Brochus lover. All right, let's see here. Nico Nico Museum 11? Museum. Wait, I got to get this name right. Nico Musume. Here's a taboo: collecting live food from nature. After being a lazy culturer, I got more chill about after collecting leaves for caterpillars and rearing. Just try and wash everything. Yeah. So I agree. I agree that there was a time, especially when there were people who were saying like, oh my goodness, you are going to go out into nature and put nature in your aquarium? Everything's going to die. And that's not true. But there is also the father fish that he came out and just said, yeah, go ahead and get a bucket or, like a gallon jar, a mayonnaise jar. Take it to the dirtiest, most stagnant pond you can find, full of life and insects and bugs and beetles. Sink that down and get all that yucky mulm and rotting vegetation and leaf detritus in there, and then dump that right in your tank, was his initial advice and vibe. Very quickly, when you tell 20,000 people on the internet that listen to do something like that, you start hearing hundreds that are like, it didn't go well. I got a dragonfly nymph, or I got fecal coliform bacteria. I think it smells like like a sewer in here, and my nitrites, like other people were testing like methane and other, all sorts of things. Not good. There's a happy medium path for everything. And for me, I think the best thing to do is to culture every live food or every additive that you want to be a sizable part of the food web. So like if you want to add Daphnia, or you want to add brine shrimp, or you want to add ostracods, well, brine shrimp are going to be hard because they don't live in the water that's fresh, and they don't live in salt water. They live in hypersaline water, generally speaking. So that's not going to work. But in the other ones, you can have these creatures living in the water with the fish, in the substrate with the fish. And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to be editing videos, thanks to you guys and your suggestions, of the blackworm hang off the tank setup. I'll show you guys in a moment what we got going on. In fact, we're going to walk around and look at a couple of the tanks after I get through the rest of the comments here. Jack Betts, what's going on? Experience with TB from rainbow fish. I have not personally had that confirmed in rainbow fish. Now, I have had that confirmed in a ancestris and at the local university. It took some time, but it came back as that. as a form of tuberculosis in fish. For me, I lost mine, and the way I tried to treat them was separating them and feeding them well, putting tannins in the water, to try to make the water a little more acidic and bearable for perhaps the invasive pathogen. And it never I never got a handle on it. The animals sadly passed away, and that kind of died out in my fish room. And some of the little fish that were in that tank, some cories and some tetra, also got sick. I never got sick, thankfully, knock on wood. And honestly, the fish, I moved some to quarantine at that time, and they passed away. But I didn't ever come to a point where I fixed anything or really helped. Now, there are some protocols if you go to the Florida Aquaculture Research Center. They have some methodologies where they've tried for hundreds of fish, different species, different method in one tank, treating 100 of them this way, 100 of them that way, 100 of them not at all, 100 of them another way, and then seeing how it all turned out. And I would say that the Florida Aquaculture Lab is your best bet if you write them, because they were set up very interestingly by, I believe it was right before the Nixon government federally, but they were set up essentially to be there for farmers, for aquaculture, for ornamental fish. Ornamental fish were seen as just as important as cows and chickens and mining gold or copper or whatever. And so therefore, they have this cool resource at the Florida Aquaculture Lab where any person with a license of being a Florida aquaculture sorry, I'm trying to think of the word, like grower, they can go in and they can say, hey, I don't know what this is, like all these fish died, or hey, the fertility rate has just like plummeted. And it is the job of the Florida Aquaculture Center to just figure that out for them, and then to give them a game plan, check back in and see how it went. And from there, as things work or don't work, they build up a knowledge base of a lot of really important things that then get shared with other states. Oh, wait. The getting shared with other states rarely happens. It happens through individuals, unfortunately. It happens because when something works, you try to keep a good thing down, you're going to hear about it anyways. So I hope that can keep on keeping on, and that even if they get rid of some of the other elements of the program, that program's core vibe of you come with a problem and they help you eradicate it. They did the same thing with the Heliobiopsidae, the neon greeny yellow dots on the bottom of the shrimp, on the swimmerets of the mother shrimp. And that was killing, 95% of shrimp for a long time. Just one in a few would make it. And then they seemingly weren't necessarily immune to getting it again, which is awful, because then they could just go through the whole thing all over again. But interesting stuff. All right, let's see here. 250 joules from First Class Fish. Laughing Disco. Right on. Okay, let's see here. Aquarium Co-op had a member talk on various illness you can get from tending aquariums. Can't remember the person. I'll look it up. I bet it was Thomas. I bet it was Eric Thomas. It was either Eric Thomas or Anthony Mazerall, both of which are my friends, and both of which are ichthyologists. But yeah, boy, I am so hot tonight, you guys. It is like 80 some degrees in here. I've got the AC roaring, and it wasn't supposed to be that hot today, but. So let's see here. Cats City, hello. Okay, we have honorary mention to Mycobacterium marinum, an older gentleman who came to my local aquarium club to give a talk. The Brooklyn Aquarium Society, right on. Told us about it and how the pain kept him up at night. Honorary to mention Mycobacteria. Oh, so he had some sort of infection, huh? Sorry to hear that. Oh, just paid $400 for 2 breeding pairs of Pentanolensis corridoris. It could be a good deal if they're prolific and they do it on point. Those fish are beautiful, really beautiful, especially when they get their kind of second rising or coat, especially when they're young and sleek. But $400, so they're paying $100 a fish. Wow. Yeah, I guess I'm sorry if I'm missing a question here, but that would be a lot of weight on those fish, those poor fish. I would be very stressed making sure that they do okay and that they get their berry white and their chocolate cream pie and quart of ice cream and candles and rose petal, get the mood going, but I think Moonlight Aquatics had theirs for $35.99, not sexed or paired off yet, but something to consider considering you could have gotten 3 of those from Moonlight Aquatic. Might be something worth checking out if you need more of them in the future. But yeah, Tiffany, I've dropped my phone too many times. Dude, story of my life. Ugh. I've been dropping my phone like there's no tomorrow. I feel like I'm getting very I'll I'll literally, it's funny but not. I'll literally with my neurological issues, I'll pick something up, like pretend this is the phone, and I'll be like, "Oh, hey honey, let me just put this in my day planner." And I'll be like, "Okay." And then I'll be like, "Okay, so let me hand you the phone." And I'll just huck it. And I'll be like, "Oh." Like I didn't mean to throw it. Like my grip just loosened and I went whoop. Yeah, that's been going on. Or I go to pick up a soda or something and I pick it up and my grip loosens and it just falls out of my hand. I hope I'm not getting like Parkinson's or something, something awful from all my dumb decisions in my early years. I'm not gonna say, let's not worry about that right now. Oh, Nico, sorry you made my username 20 years ago. It's all good. So did I. Luckily, my name didn't change, though. Okay, so Lisa says, it was Eric Thomas. I knew it. Okay, right on. Yep, great. That's rad. I do need to watch that talk. I've seen versions of him talking about of it, kind of. Also, I've met him a number of times in person down in California, up here in Seattle, and at like conventions. And very smart guy, very interesting guy. But yeah, he's talked about that, and he's talked also about like the venom of the what is the Corydorus. Which one was it? The Trilineatus, I think. Was that what it was? Trilineatus. Stir-by for sure also. Anyways, he has looked at like illness and poison and toxins and toxicity, and if some of the things like slowing the growth of another plant or of another fish or whatever, like if that might actually be some sort of chemical signal or war going on silently that we don't understand, and we're getting caught in the crossfires, and some of the things are harmful to humans. So it's an interesting point, and the chemotrophy or the war using chemicals and plants and biological stuff is fascinating. It really is. I mean, it's like how duckweed and Bose is it might I think is it no it might I think it might be Crip Axelrod, but yeah. In any case, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. They fight each other. They have what are called growth retardants in them, and so it makes it so the plant, if you have a one of a number of crypts in your aquarium, there's a good chance that you won't have the um, gosh, why can't I think? Sorry, guys, I'm starting to lose my brain. But the not frog bit, but duckweed. There we go, duckweed. So yeah. All right, let's see here. It was Eric Thomas. I can't remember anything. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. How are you doing, brother Mike? Good to see you, buddy. First class fish. Hello, also. Do fish like shade, or are you saying Sade? Was that supposed to be shade, or is it Sade? Like from coast to coast, all the way to Chicago, post to post to. I'm pretty sure they love Sade. I'm pretty sure that's how they get it on, baby. Let's get it on. I tell you, sugar. Let's get it on. Okay. Fisher, how would you set up a tank for wild discus? I would honestly, I would get like a 320 or a 240, and I would do that like at least 20 inches tall, and then you figure out the rest, I guess. But I'd do that, and then I would probably put tree, like one or two tree, like mangrove, the thin partitions, that when you see a mangrove tree or a cypress tree, a lot of times the really really old ones have these like fins of, like, you know, if you look at the tree from the top, you've got the main log and shaft of the trunk, right? And then from the trunk, you've also got these things that kind of stabilize it, like they're almost like buttresses that are like triangles and thin connective lines that you could literally climb 15 feet up the tree, tack a line to, and then pull it down and walk 10 feet away from the base of the tree. And then if you filled that in with thin wood, you know, you'd have like this rib of wood off the tree. Those things, like from the cypress, like I would get that going, and would probably, you know, have some of that kind of hiding. But I try not to, you know, block it to the point where they're going to just hide all day and so forth. I would probably also get a really big school of maybe it kind of depends on the size where you want to put everything, but I guess like flagtail Prochilotus, beautiful fish. They do get very big, but they're pretty cool. I don't know how they do with everything. I mean, that everything is a little bit of a toss up when we're talking about wild discus, like how far you want to take it with the, are they from a really hot location? Are they from clear water? Are they from black water? Are they from, easy visibility for food or low? And what does that mean for their diet and for their coloration and all that? But I think that's all fascinating. And that's like half of why I would like to, keep them and try that someday, other than it being expensive and that prohibiting it. But the just the opportunity to see them up close, to see something the size of a freaking dinner plate, literally, with those 3 or 4 patterns overlapping in different ways, just absolutely phenomenal. Very cool. But you definitely want to stock it correctly with the right, um, rummy nose tetra, maybe some Corys or a few plecos, and depends on how you want to do it, if you want to breed them and stuff. But I would have a pretty well planted tank, even though they're generally living in kind of like rock heavy environment, I guess. Would that be correct for anybody who's seen where they live? Like, not necessarily, I guess, like there's limestone and there's rock and there's like chunks of it, but I guess more wood. There's like wood everywhere. So they kind of have this like 3D maze that protects them, and that kind of, I'm sure they feel safe because they get to know an area and they kind of lock it down as their own. But I would need them to have the room to move and have the room to squabble over who's the boss, and all the all the little pushing and shoving they do to become comfy and stuff. I think it would be fascinating to watch, and I would give them all the space they need. Now that's as if I did it. Now I probably won't ever, and it's just a matter of I don't have the resources or time or energy to like devote that just to the discus. And for me, it might be different for other people, but for me, realistically, that's like that would be another job, to be taking care of something that intense, like whatever, 20 discus wild. um Anyways, Mr. Sardine, good to see you. Have a good one. uh let's see here. You got that, congratulations, aquarium. Okay. Well, I think I'm pretty caught up. Guys, I'm gonna hop on here one last time. We're gonna go look around at what my tanks are up to, and then I'm gonna retire for the night because I'm starting to fade, and my neurological stamina is fading today, Junior. Yeah, it's fading, fading, fading. If you love her in a t-shirt, if you love her in a t-shirt, show pony making us scream, show pony, universe. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. All right, let's see. Come on, wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. You want to do? All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now. Bum 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 bum. Dagmar, what's up? Eddie St. Clair, pick and choose on the news. Good gamer, aquatics. Let's get this going. Alex Mobile will be the name of the stream. Bop, bop, bop. Turn that down. 1 1 1 1. Exit. 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 All right. All right. Do. Exit. There we go. All right, Alex Mobile. Let's flip this around. You guys might get an echo here, but it should go away in a sec. It should go away in a sec. Let's flip this around. Let's flip it around. Turn around bright. Every now and then I think, and I need you more tonight. And I need you more than ever. And hold it tight. We'll be holding on together. We can make it to the edge of the night. Your love is like a shot on early all of the time. All of the time. Should probably mute that anyhow, but let me run back real quick and mute the toot. Okay. That's muted. Wait, why is that? What are you guys seeing? It freeze. Oh, it may have. Hello? 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 Is it me you're looking for? Oh, I think we got it. And what happened here? Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Charles Moore. I am a very low bar to be a hero, but thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Look at guys, I got my kitty cat a tray. I got my kitty cat a trailer. She's got a trailer and a mushroom and a trailer. Trailer mushroom cat. Trailer mushroom cat. Where the hell you at? Kitty kitty cat. You are white and black. Where's my come on, trailer mushroom cat. There you are. Let me wake you up and bug you. You are the cutest kitty in ever. Love you whenever. My cutest kitty ever. My cutest kitty ever. Meow, 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 meow. All right. I will stop that. All right. So it begins. Over here, we got the quote unquote high tech. Wow, we got this high tech, super high tech tank. So we've got all the little ruby tetras zipping around doing their crazy little thing. We've got the sunlight, or rather, sorry guys, the honey garums. Got the honey garums, and we've got the powder blue. There's 2 powder blue garamis. Then we've got those pink antler neorites, the miniature ones from Aquatic Arts that we just got this last week. They're looking fire. So pretty. And they're also cleaning very, very well. They're cleaning. Oh, look at this guy. He's pretty. They're cleaning up here. They were just on this lily pipe cleaning for a while. They cleaned all the way up into here, which was weird. They got into here, they cleaned, and then they just stopped. They also did the same thing here. They ate everything but the cyanobacteria in this one. So apparently they didn't like cyanobacteria. Suckers. Anyways. And then in here, if we poke around, you can see the red is like all but gone in this tank, and that's because I'm not really rocking and rolling with the highlight with the fertilizer. Like we're not at all doing this like super high tech uh full blown kind of thing. It's more of a right now I just want to get it to be happy as it is. Seems happy just being as it is, and floating around, the fish doing good. No nitrates really, like right around 0. We can grow most of what we want, but like the kabamba's not super bright. Nothing super red, nothing super bright. We are just kind of letting everything even grow up here. And as you can see here, we're getting these really bright plants that when I'm ready, I will trim again. I'll put them all together like this. And you can see how leggy these are getting. But I can then just chop off the excess, take the lead bands that are at the bottom of the tank right now, and resync these in groups to get the main stem plants doing their thing. I knew it was going to be a very rough go and a silly thing to do to try to run full on. Oh, we got a kitty, guys. We got a kitty. I knew it was going to be a hard thing to do to try to run stem plants as the main attraction in the aquarium. I knew that would be near impossible. Also, I think I see a snail. Is this a snail or is this a rock or something? Well, it looks like it was a rock. But anyways, there were some snails. There was one snail that got into this tank ever. And ever since it was in here, it had some babies without like it just self-cloned, self-replicated, and those babies show up from time to time, especially at night. Like 1 or 2 will show up of the ram's horn snails. But everybody's doing good in here. When I put food in, we'll see all the pygmy corridoras show up, all the red ruby tetras show up. Everybody's happy and doing good. It's just, as I told the people who, and it's running CO2. Here, let me just put this turkey baster of dirty water. As I told George at AFA in San Francisco, who hooked me up with all this stuff via ADA and Japan, he was happy. I've got good pictures of stuff from when I showed off in its flame form, how it was doing, and showing off all the things like all these plants this bright, like as you've seen them before. But it's just a matter of, do I want to be running everything that high maintenance? Do I want to be doing, an hour every 2 or 3 days of trimming, plus 2 water changes a week, plus doing the fertilizer? No, I'd rather keep it at that kind of pace and just let things kind of be easy. Be easy. Also, if you missed it, last live stream, I spread out seeds from some of these big old Anubias hybrid plants that we have. And we've got a couple that I'm just like breaking up, putting pieces aside from. And I don't know if we have any big bunny ear pieces at all. Okay, we got one. So this shows the bunny ear effect that these Cophifolia and Fraseri Cophifolia hybrids, they've got the ruffles of the Cophifolia, the spear shape of the Fraseri, and then neither of them have this feature, which is the weird little rabbit ears at the base. Now, those don't show up until your plants get a decent size. And as you can see, when things are stressed, we got aphids here. When things are stressed, that the light and the heat from this LED has totally scorched and like misshapen that leaf there. It probably, oh yeah, the other leaf it did that too is right here. But anyways, those are all just curiosities. This, as you can see, this is the main stalk. I can actually pull another piece out of here. And here, last time we were talking, I was talking about how much of this claudophora, or this annoying algae that I got from one night in one night in Florida, and I got claudophoria, and now it's stuck all over my plants too. It's like the herpes and like duckweed in my tank. I don't think I'll ever be free of you. Do 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 do. Anyway, so yeah, but we got starts of this thing galore. They're just breaking off, starting their own thing. I could do that. I could encourage more of it. Here you can see sometimes it gets a little mealy or rotten. You can smell it, and if it smells bad, then you should take it out and you should like rasp it or clean it. Like take something like a little nail file and literally use that to just get rid of any of the mush. Anything that you can that withstands a fingernail push into it, like anything that turns to mushiness with less than that, you don't need it in your life. Also, like right now, I'm just looking as we're here, and you can see, look at this. This is claudophora that has formed in the last week, and it's just a pain in my butt. And it is, again, it's growing on Val. This is jungle Val that I have just had floating around, and I'll cut some pieces free of it because I like to have these nodes just floating around because it actually works. Out of all things, it works really well as a catcher of the claudophora. The other thing that's going to work as that is going to be the roots or the rhizome of actual ferns and plants. And I don't want to throw away like hydrocaudal Bulbitis hedulata. Like I don't want this stem. I don't want to throw it away. I don't want it to be nasty and have to get thrown away at all. Same with this stuff. Like these are big sturdy plants. I want these to grow up big and have their bunny ears and go on to have babies. So I kind of just tend it all, kind of flip it back over, make sure things are doing good. We talked about this in the mulm video, but anyways, in this tank, mostly what we've got going on are just oddball plant starts in kind of a mid-tech, hybrid tech, if you want to call it that. Not super high tech. It does have a filter. It's a low flow filter, an FX or a FX 203, I believe, or 307. Wait, what is it? I always forget the number. I think it's the two. Is it the 203 or the 307? 207. 207. And that's about it. And then it has an airstone running in it. But this is the one that's got the guppy, the pure gold Endler female, and then the metallic gold, metallic rainbow snakeskin guppy. And made all these fish. And we're on, give or take, the 7th generation starting now. The babies you see are 7th generation. But again, this claudophora, I hate it. It will spread. And I have to get rid of it manually. Then I have to put it in this tank over here, which has different kinds of algae. These other kinds of algae will kind of keep the claudophora in check. That's a different algae there. That's like a green algae. And then these fish over here, so things like the mango loaches and the snails and even just these little chili rasboras, you can see CPDs that I got from Aquatic Arts. These are the CPD line that I'm hoping to breed soon. They look really good. I'm trying to get some to show up, come forward and show up a little bit, because I am really excited that somebody has some decent genetics in the U.S. And while there's a little bit of a bend to the whole fish on a few of them, that's kind of like the natural vibe that these fish can have, and that's okay. What you don't want is a very noticeable like humpback or a stomach that is concaved or bloated out. Like either way, all that stuff's no good. And so you're kind of keeping an eye out for that when you're looking at breeding stock. But if we bring things out a little bit here, pull things back, hopefully we can see some CPDs or something will come out. Definitely all the chili rasboras are flying around. They are so bright. And this is a live stream, which is like the worst. So there's a CPD right there. That's a young CPD too. So that looks, like I was saying, that looks pretty darn good for a young CPD. It's got a bit of the curve look. There's one that doesn't have any of the curve look. They just swam up and out. There's another one right here. Looking great. There's a few here. And so those I'm really excited to try to spawn in the next 6 months to a year. They'll probably be at their peak. I'm guessing right now they're probably a little young. And this tank, I haven't had a filter running on for quite some time, like at least 6 months now. And again, I've been just kind of managing things, and as I look at it, as I come by here, talked about this in the video about the mulm and how you kind of build mulm from the start, and how you want to build it, what kind of mulm you want. But I just talk about how I pull out, like if there's like a layer that's kind of getting colonized by the whatever the predominant algae is, and I'm feeling like, you know what, that's a little bit too much algae for my liking in one place, or this leaf is pretty ratty. This leaf has been here a while, and yeah, it's doing photosynthesis and stuff. It's probably not really helping. It's probably doing more harm than good. And over here, you can see this kind of rat's nest. I can take this and I can set aside some of the stuff, but just looking quickly, I can tell like this is so undernourished, this little start. Like, yeah, I could bring it back to life, but am I going to? Am I short on aquarium plants here? Is it anything rare? That's kind of all stuff that I appraise literally in the moment that I just break it all off. And I look around and I say, nah, you know, there is some of this hydrocodal tripartita that I love, that kind of trailing plant. But again, there's so much of it in here all tangled together that am I gonna like all of a sudden not have any? And sometimes I eat those words. I will admit there have been a few times when I've thought, oh, I got plenty of X, Y, or Z, and it's in 3 different tanks. And it turns out that that's not the case. But especially when you have, a dozen or more tanks, you start feeling pretty secure in what you can prune and what you can deal with and stuff like that. Now I don't have that many tanks anymore, so now I'm having to be a little more hesitant and a little more careful and cautious about what I've got and all that. So anyways, this also I probably need to do something with. Cut it. It's already flowered and it's gone to seed. You can see where the jaw's mouth is back there. That is where the water would be coming out if it were running, but the HOB is off now. So yeah, we're just down to this basically. There's some nice CPDs back in this little cave, which is basically like a cave just topped by this. And same here, like this is a cave, quote unquote, but it's really just moss hanging over a piece of wood. So I can fit almost my entire hand under that shelf. And so while people would be like, oh, there's not enough room for your fish in this tank, there is. They have room underneath all the plants and all the stuff to swim all the way around. Like there's room all the way back into here, in between rocks and stuff like that. Another thing is, you keep an eye out for, on this plant, I keep an eye out for when it starts to dissolve and turn clear. Might as well pluck the leaf. That's never going to come back. Once it's about 20% gone, I've never seen these recover. I don't know what's up with it, but something about that species of Samolus paraflorva, it just does not, is not a hardy plant once it's injured or once it's missing its whatever it is, its nutrient profile window or something. I don't really know what is causing it to be angry. Anything else about this tank? Nothing really important at the moment. But yeah, I've still got the purple aflame growing in here, looking like a nice plant. Hasn't grown too huge. See, again, we've still got the hydrocotyl, lots of little pieces floating around that I can later take and do whatever I want with and reset, especially if I start growing in CO2, then you can really rev up the engines and start things. But I like to just pick all these pieces, do it to like 3 aquariums in a day. And then I have a plan of a video that I'm going to be making for you guys, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. But basically talking about the blackworms and the live cultures. So let me show you real quick a sneak peek at what we're up to in there. And then I'll check the comments because I know y'all are, I've just been talking at y'all for a while. But right here, we've got, well, a mess, but we've got the Fluval breeder box, a little one, and then we've got the big one. But both of these have the air stone that brings water in. So it's got like a little water changing and a spillway gate over here. They're great. They're only 20 or 30 bucks, depending on features and what country you're in and shipping and handling. But Amazon Prime, I think I paid $22.99 for this and $16.99 for this. Then we've got some sponges. We're going to try doing the black worms and the white worms without substrate. We're going to use these acrylic Brillo or scrub pads. We're going to try with yeast, fast yeast, active yeast, and just normal, slow, old school yeast. And then we're going to try putting them in little Tupperware tubs as well as these littler tubs. And we're starting all with the portions we got from Aquatic Arts in here. It's been a week. Oh, that is most foul. Woo! And wow, that is a strong smell. Smells like a cake batter from hell. And then but other than that, what's going on in here? We got some fishies in here. We got lots of shrimp in here. Trying to get my Malawa shrimp for the hard water Malawas to rebound in here. Maybe 20 are in there. I don't know. Had a couple Prego ones. Then we've got my baby Apistogramma that you guys don't know about yet, but I've got baby Inca Banshees in here. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. And another one up there. There's probably 7 babies in here that are all like about the size of my pinky nail, maybe a little bit bigger. And they're just chilling in here. No filter other than an air stone running. Also, we've got a betta in here. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the other bettas I got at the shop. Then the bettas are acclimating in here. The betta embolus, they're getting used to being in a tank full of other creatures, but they're all Southeast Asian Danios, other than a few of the tetras that are super old now, like 6 years old. So they're hanging out in there, doing their thing, just chilling. And then down here, we've got the actual father of the Inca Banshee. We've got a father and a mother. Come on, where are you? Say hello. There's one there. There's one there. Haven't really showed them off in a while, but they're doing their thing. And yeah, then in here, this is nothing other than we've got some red-tailed lake inlay loaches and some one blue shiner, two pygmy top minnows, and then a whole bunch of the little teeny tiny least killifish. They're doing their thing, you know, nothing crazy there. In here, metallic live bears from Cuba, and there's just a few fry and shrimp. And then again, over here, this is my only other tank at the moment, and this is a shrimp tank with malawas. This was the last of my blue malawa line. That was kind of my baby, my precious. And it's some coals and stuff too. But in this same tank, if we can get it to show up for the party, there are also, I mean, there's a lot of shrimp in this one. I think there's probably 50 to 60 shrimp in here now, I'm hoping. They're very like, there's a red one. See, the blues were the ones that threw the red malawas, by the way. But you can see there's some real prego mamas in here. But there's also a betta. There is a really tiny, yeah, there's a really blue malawa right there. Right there. But there's also a little tiny betta Maha chiensis. The last Maha chiensis I had, I don't know where it is right now. It is very tiny. And also you can see how tiny some of these shrimp are as this baby swims across the middle of the tank headed this way. I don't know if you guys can see it even. Come on. Anyways, but yeah, I hope the fish is still in here. I haven't really seen it in a while, and I haven't really been actively feeding it because it's surrounded by all these like shrimp. And I figured between the shrimp and the sand and the substrate, and there's a few planaria, there's some detritus worms. I figure like he's probably living his best life as the only fish in this tank, and only being about, I would say he's an maybe, let's see if is he up here in this tangle. I would say he's maybe a half inch long at the very largest. I mean, he's nowhere nearly as big as like that shrimp. So yeah, I don't see him at the moment. Interesting. I hope the shrimp didn't gang up on him and just decide to eat him. There's a big red shrimp back there too that you can kind of see. So yeah, there's a lot of babies growing out in here right now. Marimo moss again, trying to keep cladophora out using separate gear in this room from this tank anyways. But yeah, I'll get a picture of the little guy. I can't tell gender or anything like that. I just know it's a betta embolus and that it basically snuck living in one of these little hatch tanks down here that have now been since drained. Up here, all hatched, ready to get redone. And I think eventually, like I've said in the past, there's nothing there. This can be drained. It's just a QT tank with some Siamese algae eaters in it. That's a QT tank. This is just storage junk. So nothing over there, nothing over there. Those are all top storage and live food / scuds. So they're not really needed either. I have enough scuds just in like that tank and that tank to keep them going and out in the ponds. So basically the goal will be to put this tank, the 60 breeder, right over into here. But right now this room is just such a mess. Haven't done anything with it. And then probably we're going to try to consolidate all the tanks. So all these tanks here, boom, 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 boom. these storage boxes and stuff into the shed. We just got a new shed, like a pop-up shed type thing. And then here we'll move that one out. We'll move those and probably get a better dehumidifier too, so that this can be actually a guest bedroom for my wife again, because I don't know when I'll be ready to actually, if I'll be ready to actually be an aquarist again at the level that I was at. But I think that will be plenty of tanks to play with. And I'll have the one more community tank, maybe doing angelfish or something in there, or like something along the lines of maybe a Venezuelan or Colombian or Peruvian biotope blackwater. I could also do like a gourami biotope with like cool gourami and maybe some archer fish and some, I don't know, we'll see. But not worried about that yet. Just kind of focused on how much density of interesting life and projects and stuff we can get going here, and then we'll get those live cultures going. Also, we got this little girl, one of our new bettas. She's been here a while. She's kind of the ugly duckling that nobody wanted, that's been hiding for a long time. Look how clean the substrate is back here. I haven't gravel back that. That is just the snails, the fish. I mean, look at the snail graveyard too. Compared to up here where the flow takes things, this corner's always just kind of in a dead zone of flow. And then we've always had some sort of shrimp and snails and whatever that are breaking things down. It's just when you keep piling up leaf debris, it can get out of hand quickly. So it's kind of a stark example. Oh, here's the Pikachu one I got from Aquatic Arts, the Pokemon gal or guy, I should say. But hopefully this one will find the other one. Will find that they'll find each other attractive and they'll get along. And right now I'm just letting them in this big of a tank, a male and a female, gallivant around. They're both pretty small, like compared, they're not grown at all. So they'll probably still change colors one more time. All right, I'm coming back to make sure you guys didn't say anything about me that I need to come and tell you, tune you up. Boy, look at my triple legs. I look crazy. I got these cut off pirate pants and shoes that aren't real shoes they're like diabetic, like boots for when you break your foot. Don't have diabetes though, thankfully. All right. Hello. How are we doing, everyone? Yeah, somebody else got the actual Pikachu, the one that has the pink circle on its cheek. Mine, I let it be. I said somebody that loves Pokemon is gonna like lose their mind if I take that one. Boy, I look funny the way that slipped off and my head got turned into like a pinhead. Anyways, so yeah, what's my most regretted purchase you've made since starting your old fish room all the way till now? That's a great question, Aquatics. I would say the fact it's kind of a regret, but it's more of like that I didn't do something, if that makes sense. It's a regret that I didn't plumb in overflow plumbing and an RODI or drain in the room itself. We don't have good pressure. We have really bad pipes under the house. And one, I would have learned all that way sooner if I'd done it right when we moved in. But I had so many fish coming from my other house. At the time, we had 22 fish when I moved in. And within 2 years, with YouTube rocking and rolling, the lockdown going on, I ended up with something along the lines of 36 fish tanks, a lot of fish I was breeding and selling. And to be honest, it especially got away from me when I wasn't allowed to lift more than like 10 pounds or more than basically a jug of milk. That's like what I'm supposed to lift. I lift more than that, but as you can probably see, like I'm already sweating and I'm shaking. I'm gonna pay just for the fact that like I stood up and showed you guys that. That sounds really pathetic, but my autoimmune issues, like connective tissue, just is so inflamed. It gets so painful. And then on top of that, I've got the wound on the foot still. It just won't heal on my heel. But I wish I had done that. I wish I had taken the time and thought it out to have had the whole room set up on valves where like it had a water sensor on the floor, like an Inkbird, which, that'd be $250 maybe to rig that up right. And then you'd know if you had moisture or if you had a leak. And then you would have also a way to, if you drilled holes in all the tanks, you'd have baffles. And so you could literally just pop open the baffles, drain the overflow, or leave them open and just put new water in. The old water would come out the over the spillway, and then you could have that all go down to an outflow into the garden, and I'd have it in a cistern that I could use to water the plants with and so forth. And then I would have used either my roof or an RODI station to funnel and collect like a cistern of clear water in the fish room. Like that's what I really, really wish I'd done. It would have alleviated so much of the potential like drama, or hey, can I get help with this, or hey, I'm going to be in the hospital, or I've got a doctor's appointment and could you do this, and then I have to draw a diagram and I'm like, oh no, they didn't do it right, and they gave me, instead of a pinch, they did a tablespoon of the fry food, and they did it like every day instead of every other day. There's been a lot of heartbreak or just frustration, not like true heartbreak or super serious stuff, but just a lot of stuff that could have been avoided if I'd been more prepared or patient. I suppose patience is something you have to learn, and I've gotten better at being patient about not just buying impulse buy fish, not just buying any tank because it's a crazy good deal on sale or at the fish club, although sometimes that still gets me. But yeah, now I can do those things, but I still lack the patience to like wait and call a contractor or get a good opinion. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I can't go up a ladder or even like hammer like this for more than 15 minutes without my back and neck like locking up and spazzing. But no, I'm going to totally cut and patch and do the drywall myself. Like, what am I thinking? Right? But yeah. Let's see here. Hello, and Lisa the White Wolf. Hello. I've been enjoying your deep dive videos. Well, thank you. I think I put together a playlist that has some of them together, but I should go in and like look at anything that's not just for a first in my head, deep dives had to be about a half an hour to justify calling it a deep dive. But now looking back on it, and looking at some of the content, I'm like, oh, some of these go really deep for like an 8-minute topic, but it's just I keep a very narrow bandwidth on the subject, and for me that's hard. And usually I kind of go wandering around and tell you guys random trivia about several different topics. The foot, we don't know for sure why it won't heal, by the way, Heavenish, but the foot, basically, I stepped on glass, it got infected, it got MRSA, I ended up with sepsis and blood poisoning, ended up in the hospital. They cleaned it out, supposedly, but it turns out after 11 days in the hospital and then finally closing it again, sending me home, that he didn't think that he'd gotten all the, and I didn't either because I had complained about it, but all the rocks and gravel and glass out of my calloused foot, which probably wearing sandals or something going out to the mailbox, probably a piece of glass got in there. And at one point, a piece of glass about the size of my thumbnail came out of the callus, in between the callus and the foot. So it was feeling it felt like pressure, it didn't feel like pain. But when I pushed on it, it just went whoop and came like right out quickly. And that then that same night it got red and then like dark red, and then like you could see both redness swelling, pinkness swelling from the heel, and it swelled out like I rolled my heel or hurt my heel. And then on top of that, the slot where the glass and a couple pieces of rock had come out of, like crushed gravel from the driveway. That also was up in the leg. So I don't know what happened, if I like slid at some point on it or something. Like I really don't know. But they didn't clean it all out, obviously. So it ended up needing to be reopened, re-cleaned, re-examined, just the whole 9 yards all over again. Then we thought we were good to go. And then again, later I get another secondary infection and end up almost dying. Again, in the ICU. One time I was in Florida, heat stroke, COVID, and a combination of all this stuff. And I was really sad because I had all these shows and all these events booked, and I was booked for a while out, had good momentum on the channel, was making good money, and I had to just set it all aside. And the one piece of solace is that knowing that what we learned, what we taught each other, what I've learned in the community, I was able to leave those tanks that you guys just saw, those tanks, and have fry, old fish, young fish, medium fish, wild fish, tank caught fish. And they survive in the aquarium, in the ecosystem I built them, for 4 to 7 days, no problem. Some of them lasted 16 days. I only lost about 8 fish through the whole thing, through 3 weeks, by the time I got home. It seems somewhere in there you broke your foot too. Yes. So semi-feral Jill. Yeah, that's what happened. So when I got hurt on the glass and I went in and had it, looked at and everything, the the infection that I had was in the bone marrow as well as in my brain. I had 107 fever at one point, and they were giving me last rites. It came around for like the organ donation info, and if we have to cut the leg off, is that okay? And I was like, what if I say no? Just to be a smartass. And they're like, you'll die. And I was like, yeah, screw that leg. That leg sucks anyways. I can't even walk on it right now. That leg's no good to me. You can have it. And my wife didn't think it was funny. I try to make light of everything, but yeah, it's been a crazy year. But yeah, so that happened. And then I used crutches, but also I've got this edema and swelling of water where I've got 50 pounds plus of water always swelling on my joints and legs and arms and stuff. They don't know why for sure, but they think it might be years of steroid use of prednisone and methotrexate to try to stop my lupus. And unfortunately, they consider that to all be like a luxury or a elective thing that I would want to be out of that I would want to be out of pain, basically, that I'd want to be able to function and move my joints and stuff. So they don't cover a lot of what you'd think they would, and they just don't. So like all my casts that I had to get redone every week, custom soft casts, had to get those redone every week, and it was like $600 out of pocket. And then that maxed out, but it still ends up being like 15 grand or something a year that can rack up easily, not to mention the not working and the other stuff. So it's been a wild ride, but yeah. How do you determine the sex of an assassin snail? I assume they're the ones hunting people. No, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know with assassin snails, unfortunately. Did Rune Wolf just get? I mean, what time was that? Yeah, it was. So like 10 minutes ago, gave 5 more gifted memberships. That is golf clap. Thank you, you guys. The generosity tonight has been overwhelming. I really do appreciate it. And Alex, I have a question no one has answered for me yet. How do you okay, yeah, sorry. I'll try to figure that out about the snails. A lot of times it's on snails, it's the males will have either the left or the right antenna taller or like longer noticeably than the other gender. And sometimes it's like the male will have bright orange or something, you know, and the females don't. Or it'll be uh yeah, it'll be something along the lines of that they reproduce asexually, which I know a lot of them can and stuff, so that it doesn't really matter that they're kind of all interchangeable. So I'm not sure on those ones though. I'm not. Um, but guys, I'm getting kind of we're at the 2 hour mark, and I'm getting um, definitely worn out here, and like I don't want to bring it to the point where I'm letting y'all down by sounding like a dummy dumb. But I do appreciate you guys coming by. Randall Ben, Mr. Sardine, Lisa the Wolf. Yeah, that was the flame tank, by the way, Lisa. A half hour ago. I have pictures of it when it's, in flame. It only takes about 4 days, 5 days to get those bright purples and pinks. Those stem plants will grow somewhere between an inch to 2 inches a day when they're in their fast growth mood. And man, to end up with a plant that's started as a green plant and all of a sudden it's neon purple and this big in a week, and it's cresting the water, it's wild. It is wild. You guys, I'm going to get out of here, but as always, if you had a good time, share the love, let people know to check out something or some part of this or some of the old content. Means the world to me. I will be home for Christmas in my dreams. Anyways, I couldn't even sing that. It cracked so loud. You guys, yeah, I'm like I said, my brain is starting to go boop 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 boop. So I need to lay down for a bit. If I can tomorrow, like I said, if I can, I'll be throwing in extra streams and stuff. I miss you guys. I have a lot that I've been thinking about in the fish world, in new research, and I will share it when I have enough of it that I feel like I'm contributing more than there's like Anton Petrova, is that his name, who has a channel, and he says, hello you kind people, or you beautiful people, or whatever he said. No, it's not beautiful people. Hello people, but I don't know if he's Polish or Russian or what he is, Ukrainian maybe, but he is all about science and research and cool stuff like we like on the channel. He's better at editing. He's got an editing team. He's been at this longer, and it looks great, But he's got the same topics covered that I will cover a lot of times. And I'll just say, you know what? He covered that so well that I feel like I should just put it in our community tab and say, go watch this. But I do realize that sometimes, like, my opinion might have some value, I guess. I don't know. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm getting a licking, and I probably can't keep chicken. But most of all, thank you so much, you guys, for your charity, for your kindness, for your thoughtfulness, and for playing with me, for chatting with me, for asking questions, for talking a little bit about taboos, a little bit about this or that, a little bit for tanks, and seeing the mess that is my house at the moment. But I really do appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys are finding meaning and happiness in your aquariums and in your gardens and in your lives. So, thanks for coming around and spending a little time of it with me. It does mean a lot. I need to go sit in a cool shower, although I can't go in the shower all the way, so I'll just put my head in the cool shower. But yeah, again, Rune Wolf, thank you for all the gifted memberships. Guys, if you go to the memberships, or if you go to the playlist tab, rather, there should be just a list of articles, and also like the 2023 audio playlist, the this or that audio playlist, the podcast compatible or podcast friendly playlist. All that is the hidden 300 plus episodes that paid members used to have to find, and I'd unlock it for them with it being hosted elsewhere. But you know what? I decided if I want to give away the secret, since I can't give away memberships and it's only $1.99 that gets you all of that. Plus, same with in kids. I don't know, educational files and things, not workbooks, but like, I guess, worksheets and interesting little quizzes and stuff that have been put together, or little helpful infographics. All that is free. And so if you just got a free membership, feel free to check it out. Check out the Discord, and I'll talk to you guys later. I need to go rest, but take care, as I just said, and take care of your critters. Take care of your plants. Take care of the people around you that need taking care of. And of course, take care of yourself, or you can't do any of the other things. So thank you so much for your time and for hanging out with me and supporting me for all these years, but also just as of late. Really does mean the world to me. And I can't express how dark things have gotten at some points in time, but it just means a lot that we have the community here, and that you guys are like learning just like me, and that you guys are hanging on and around. So yeah, if any of you are making content that it's in this similar vein, of either science or deep dives and all that kind of stuff, or self experiments with the aquarium stuff, let me know. And I can always give you guys a shout out when I see good work being done. I love to do that. I love to support our community here. So all right, you guys, have a good one. Much love, and I'll see you later. No.